In this feature tour, I'm going to show you Framework Builder, a Dreamweaver extension that gives web developers what they need to make more advanced websites faster. Framework Builder includes much sought-after functionality to help you handle includes from within Dreamweaver. Referred to as plugins, Framework Builder makes it easy for you to reuse the code and content that you have created and even apply it to your pages dynamically. I'm going to show you how these plugins work and how implementing this functionality on the sites that you create will save you time. So I've created a very basic example of how you can insert a static plugin to your page. In this example, I'm going to show you how I've created a PHP plugin page which contains a Google map. Here's that plugin page now. It's just a basic Google map with directions included. And I've saved this page to a plugins folder within my site. You can save these pages anywhere in your site. I just choose a plugins folder because it's easier to organize all of my plugins. So I'm going to use Framework Builder to insert that map page as a plugin to my Content Us page that I have here. So to insert a plugin, you place your cursor where you want the plugin to be inserted, and then from the Web Assist menu, I'm going to choose Framework, Plugin, Insert Plugin, and the Add New Plugin page interface will open. So from the trigger menu, I'm going to choose Always because I want this map to display every time this page loads, but you can also specify different triggers depending on what your needs are. I'm going to select the Browse for the plugin source, and this is where I choose the map plugin PHP file that I've already created. And I have the option of using the page title that's on the plugin page as the page title of the Content Us page when the Content Us page loads the map. For this example, I'll leave that blank and click OK. And as you can see, my map's been inserted to my Content Us page. Dreamweaver is able to inspect the static plugin, so that's why we can see the content of the map.php page here. But when you look at the code, the only reference to this map is the one line right here. So it keeps the code of my Content Us page cleaner and easier to manage. So let's save this page and preview it in a browser to see what it looks like. So as you can see in the browser, the map loads normally, and it even includes the directions at the bottom. So that's a really basic example of a static plugin. Now keep in mind that these plugins can be anything from content to code. So when you develop different code and functions that you use on a regular basis, you can save them as plugin pages to insert to any of your sites using Framework Builder at any time. So now let me show you an example of a dynamic plugin. So for my dynamic plugin example, I've created two different types of contact form. The first contact form is for sending a message, and the other one, which is very similar, is for asking a question. These are very basic forms that I've created, but you could have much more detailed, much more elaborate forms that you use as plugins. As you can see, I've saved these forms as PHP files in my plugins folder as well. So the first thing to do is place my cursor where I want the plugin to be inserted. Then from the Web Assist menu, choose Framework, Plugin, Insert Dynamic Plugin, and this time when the Add New Plugin interface loads, you have some more options so that you can add multiple plugins to your page. So the trigger variable field, you can select the lightning bolt to specify a dynamic value such as a session variable or a record set. So for my example, I'm actually going to use a URL variable. So this is what I'm going to enter here, and I'm going to click Add to add a new plugin. So for the first plugin, I'm going to choose the plugin source browse option, and I'm going to select my contact form plugin that I've already created. And in the variable value field, I'm actually going to leave this blank. By leaving it blank, by default, this is the plugin that will be loaded. So now I'm going to click Add to add another plugin. This time I'm going to choose the other plugin for the other contact form. So this time in the variable value field, I entered question as the value that I'm going to use for the URL variable. So now that I'm ready, I'm going to click OK to insert this dynamic plugin. And so now that the dynamic plugin has been inserted, you see it's indicated by a PHP icon because it's a dynamic plugin. So now I need to insert the links that will be used to specify which of the forms displays. So I've inserted the text that I'm going to use as my links, and now let me create the links. So for the default form, I'm going to have it go to the Content Us page. And for the other URL, I'm going to enter the value that I specified in Framer Builder. So with those set, let's save this page and preview in a browser. So as you can see, when the page loads, the default form displays for sending a message, and if I click the Ask Us a Question link, the page refreshes and the form changes to be the Ask Us a Question form. All I have to do is click the Send Us a Message link again, and it'll jump back to the default form. So that's a very basic example of how you can use the dynamic plugins in Framer Builder. You could also use these for much more complex scenarios where you have more than 2 plugins and more complex functions and code. But this is just a basic example to show you how easily you can apply this to a page. Framer Builder has a lot to offer a developer to speed up their web development, including the Framer Builder theming architecture, which uses the same concept as the plugins that I just demonstrated to you, and takes your Dreamweaver templates to the next level to make it easier and faster for you to update the design used by the site you create. For example, if you create many sites that are similar in functionality, you can use the Framer Builder dynamic themes to quickly switch the theme that's being used by that entire site. Now with Framer Builder themes, instead of having to update every single page once you've made a change to your Dreamweaver template, instead, because all the design elements are based off of a plugin, they are instantly updated as soon as you update your Dreamweaver template. This is especially useful if you've developed very large sites where a lot of the pages would have to be updated and then uploaded to your server to apply the change. Instead, you only have to update the Dreamweaver template and upload that file. So that's about it for this feature tour. I hope I've been able to show you some of the usefulness of Framer Builder and the plugin concept, and how useful this can be for a developer who's trying to develop more advanced websites and reuse the code that you create as you build more and more websites. So visit Websys.com to go ahead and give Framer Builder a try. Also check out our other Dreamweaver extensions and our PHP solutions. Thank you very much.